The Iraq War. How did we get there and who fought it? Well, let's start at the beginning. This is my uncle, Sergeant Robert James Maroney, born on July 2nd, 1979. My uncle grew up where times were much more simpler. He was raised in a middle-class suburban neighborhood where numerous friends lived next door, and the internet, computers, cell phones, and video games were not a part of everyday life yet. My uncle and his friends and siblings enjoyed spending their time outside, enjoying playing sports or games like manhunt and laser tag, where life was just much more simpler. My uncle's parents, my grandparents, Marty and Denise Maroney, were always very hardworking and both had full-time jobs. My uncle's family was like many others at the time. They loved and supported each other, and they made mistakes along the way. We all do, nobody's perfect. And they continue to grow as a family to this day. My uncle grew up in a very typical household for the time, and my uncle, as a child, didn't really understand all the sacrifices and things his parents did for him. In his words, he said, "It's not until you get older and maybe live life a little that you realize all the things your parents did for you." My uncle's father always worked 2 jobs when he was a kid, so that they always had what they needed. My uncle always saw his father as the strong, reliable figure in the family, as the protector, the problem solver, and often the source of wisdom, or even a bit of humor. When my uncle was growing up, everything just seemed simpler. Parents and kids didn't have to worry about the things that they do today. The 80s and 90s were a different time. The technology has definitely changed our day-to-day lives. My uncle spent hours outside riding bikes and playing kickball, tag, or running around the neighborhood. It was a time before everyone was glued to smartphones and social media. My uncle said it had a nice balance of freedom, innocence, and discovery. My uncle did not know too much about his family history, but he did know some stories about his grandparents that his mother and father told him. My uncle said that as people grow, their goals often shift toward more realistic ambitions, like pursuing a career, finding meaningful relationships, or building a family. He said, as adults, many start to focus on things like personal growth, helping others, traveling, or leaving a positive mark on the world. When my uncle was in high school, he got his first job working at Dairy Queen, that his uncle owned. But not long after, my uncle went through his first year of college. He realized that he wasn't a bad student, but college was just simply not meant for him, or something that he was interested in. He was a little lost on what he wanted to do with his future, like many people at that age. At that point, that was when the military came into mind. My uncle thought that when he joined the military, it would give him the opportunity to mature and find his place in the world. And that was when he decided to join the Army. When my uncle joined the Army, he went through events that would leave a mark on the world and change the course of history. One of those events was the Iraq War. When my uncle went through the Iraq War, it changed him. It brought on a 20-plus war in Iraq-Afghanistan. As a soldier, it changed all aspects of the normal day-to-day operations. My uncle not only went through the Iraq War, but he also was there the day of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. After 9/11, the Army faced higher operational demands. Units were deployed more frequently, and deployments often lasted for extended periods. Many soldiers found themselves deployed to the east multiple times over the course of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The increased operational tempo put significant strain on Army personnel and their families. It also led to changes in the way that the Army approached soldiers' well-being, mental health, and family support. My uncle grew up faster. He traveled to a part of the world he thought he would never visit, and seeing firsthand actual brutal parts of war, as you can imagine, is a lot for a young adult. As the Iraq War progressed, many soldiers began to feel disillusioned with the mission, especially as it became apparent that the war was more completed and prolonged than initially anticipated. Some soldiers questioned the reasons for going to war, the lack of clear objectives and challenges of the nation building, and deeply divided country. Many soldiers committed to their duties, and the mission others struggled with a sense of frustration, feeling that the goals of war were unclear or shifting. But despite the challenges and delusionment, my uncle said he found a deep sense of brotherhood with his fellow service members. The tight knot and bond helped my uncle endure the hardships of deployment and to cope with the emotional toll of war. The effects of this war definitely impacted my uncle. The prolonged and often intense nature of combat in Iraq contributed to my uncle's PTSD. The exposure to roadside bombs, IEDs, firefighters, and the stress of insurgent warfare led to long-term physiological challenges. My uncle had a difficult time adjusting back to civilian life after deployments. As the Iraq War progressed, my uncle said that as he's gotten older, challenges have gotten a lot more easier, and the things of the past don't bother him as much. My uncle gave some advice to us young adults to prepare for old age. He said to start taking care of your body now. Regular exercise, eating well, staying active, and getting regular checkups can set you up for a healthier old age. That you should foster deep and supportive friendships, staying connected with family, and investing time in relationships that bring you joy. He said, don't wait until you're older to start enjoying life. Travel, take risks, try new things, and enjoy your youth. These experiences become a part of happiness later on. Along with saving, learning how to invest, whether in stocks, bonds, or real estate, can help you build wealth over time. My uncle is now 46 years old. As he has gotten older, he said that the smaller things make him the happiest, like spending time with friends and family, playing 18 holes of golf on a beautiful day and sitting on his deck, overlooking the lake, grilling food, and having a drink. My uncle said that he wants to be remembered as someone who was loved by his family and friends, someone that could always be counted on and was there when needed. He wants to be remembered as someone who was helpful, kind, and always curious, someone who made life a little easier or more enjoyable for people around him. That is my uncle's story of a born-to-be proud American soldier.
Can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars